in a half in her career. Third quarter, though, here come the Liberty. Here comes Sabrina Ionescu, giving it up and getting it back. The Liberty in front by 4. Later in the quarter, that's Aaliyah Boston down low. What a combination they are. Clark and AB. And then they do it again. Boston to the cup. She plays it. Facilitating, rebounding, and score. Nothing fever run. Fourth quarter, Boston. Mitchell got it. Indiana in front by 8. Clark dished out 9 assists in this game. 1 here to Mitchell. The ball did not stick. Stephanie White's team looking great with their superstar back in the lineup. What a performance from Caitlin, to say the very least. Caitlin Clark scored or assisted on 54 fever points. The 9th time in 45 career games she's created at least 50 points. The only player in WNBA history with more. The GOAT, Diana Taurasi, who did it 10 times in 565 career games. Game-recognized game. Here's Sabrina Ionescu post-game on Caitlin.
Absolutely. Clark and the Fever return to action this Tuesday against the 2-7 Sun, the same Connecticut team that knocked Indiana out of last year's postseason. Then Indy hits the road 3 consecutive games in Golden State, Vegas, and then Seattle. Clark scored 11 points in her lone road game this season against the...
Caitlin Clark returns, helps the Fever hand the defending champion Liberty their first loss of the season. Clark was excellent, 32 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, had a couple of blocks. Erica, what stood out to you in her first game back?
For me, what stood out is that she emptied the tank. You know, I was on HQ earlier in the week talking about Paige Beckers, like, oh, you know, maybe she'll kind of, you know, slowly integrate in. We heard pre-game Caitlin Clark talking about that she doesn't believe in minutes restrictions. Both of these rookies today, after missing time, absolutely hit the ground running. Caitlin Clark, as we noted in the highlights, being able to just shoot at a ridiculous clip from distance, electrifying a crowd that is already excitable about basketball this time of year. And this was just a good performance from Indiana overall. 20 bench points, I think, is one of the differentiators in this game for sure. And you've got to give some, I almost said stick taps, I'm in hockey mode now. You got to give some credit to Sydney Colson and Lexi Hull. I thought they executed very well in very key moments of the game to stunt what the New York Liberty were trying to do. And again, Caitlin Clark leading the way with 32 points, just a fantastic return to play and exactly what Indiana, I'm sure, was hoping for from their young start.
Erica, how do you evaluate this win? Yeah, you get Caitlin Clark back, and it's nice to have her. You get Sophie Cunningham back in the lineup as well. But the Liberty did not have Jonquel Jones, the reigning finals MVP. So when you look at it on a whole, they weren't at full strength as well.
You know, and that's definitely something that both teams are going to, I guess, calculate when they think about this game holistically, because they both are going to have post-game aspirations. However, that's the hand that was dealt to the New York Liberty. They were also without Leonie Febish. However, last time these two teams played, Febish got injured really early in the game, and New York had to do without her. That being said, how the Indiana Fever were able to once again just get New York out of sorts by having them switch a lot. I think the communication, the execution for New York wasn't as stable. And I think what we did see is that the New York Liberty, I think especially defensively on helping, they rely on Jonquel Jones to clean up a lot. And I think that's something that they're going to want to go back to the board, look at, even when Jonquel Jones does come back to this New York squad.
Caitlin Clark, meantime, has the second best odds to win WNBA MVP at plus 310, behind only Nafisa Collier, who's an overwhelming favorite already at minus 420. Collier also poured in 32 points, but she was nearly lights out, Erica. 13 of 16, leads the league in scoring. We know Collier's on a mission after how last season ended, losing in the finals. What are we witnessing from Fee to start this season?
I mean, we heard that conversation with Brandon. We've got to keep, you know, the pressure on their necks. That is cutthroat throat. This version of Napheesa Collier has all of the finesse, all of the just instincts that we've seen throughout her career, but there's more edge. There's more determination behind what Napheesa Collier is doing. And we heard from, of course, our great broadcast team that she also has been setting goals in the last handful of seasons. Defensive Player of the Year was on there. I've been talking a lot about her 50-40-90. She's actually better than 50-40-90 from the floor, from the perimeter, and the free throw line, respectively. Those are all goals, and so she's hitting her goals. She's in perfect stride, and she seems unstoppable right now.
First player in WNBA history with 30 points on 80% shooting, 5 rebounds, 5 assists in a game as they get the big win. Erica Ayala here on CBS.
I know the Dallas Wings are going to try to make a push into the playoffs, but I'm more excited about the Indiana Fever because they've now catapulted themselves into championship contention. Look, the Fever, they won the offseason. If you think about this, y'all, when we talk about players, you know, and when we go back to our college times, we think about like the sophomore slumps. No, not for Caitlin Clark in this rookie class from last year. It's going to be a sophomore jump. They already had a great core with Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, but now this jump is going to move them to contend with the best of the best. They added Joanna Bonner, who has the most playoff experience in the WNBA, 87 games. They added Natasha Howard, who averaged 17 points per game. Oh, did you see that 3 in the preseason game? Her logo 3, it was iconic. Look, this is a team.
I'm waiting for you to finish because I got something to tell you.
Okay, that's cool. But like, let me just tell you this. I understand. I love it when teams and organizations understand the assignment. There's an influx of fans, viewership, marketing, money, all with the Indiana Fever. They're also hosts of the WNBA All-Star game this year. What do? They gave them something to root for in the biggest of moments. They can contend based off of the pieces. Now they just have to do the work.
And they changed their head coach.
We're not.
Yeah, Indiana royalty, Stephanie White.
Yeah.
We're not expecting much from Dallas this year. We know that they've only been to the playoffs, they've only advanced to the second round a couple of times over the last several years. We know they're not that great, but they will be because of Paige. Now, here's what you're missing, and I understand you know. Here's what you're missing. We're thinking about Caitlin Clark and how exceptional she was. And we're like, we don't want to compare the players or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what you want?
What do I want?
Rivalries.
We got them.
No. Listen to me. Paige Beckers is big time. She's an incredibly popular player as well. Former National Player of the Year, 4 Final Four appearances, now a national champion. We know how she can ball, and we know she had to sustain that huge injury years ago, how much even better she would be. And she's already terrific. And then I'm thinking about is coming into the league eventually in a year. So, I mean, think about what's happening. People got to pay attention to the big picture with the WNBA. What you wish for, what you aspire for, what you know better than most, that most people need to be educated about. Paige, along with Caitlin, Juju in the future is just going to help educate us all about all of the great talent around the WNBA. And that's what you want. You want rivalries. You want people hating on them, loving on them. You don't want the in-between. The in-between is mediocrity. The in-between isn't purgatory. It isn't an abyss. It isn't